Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. I am Lauren House, hostess of the Beyond the House on the Social Nostra network. And today I want to answer a very important buyer question. And that is a deal done if you're in second position? So if this is going to be the situation. So you find a home that you like, you call me up and say, hey, what is the deal with this property? I call the agent, I find out that it just went under contract. Could have been 20 minutes ago, could have been 3 days ago. Either way, the house is technically off the market. So as the buyer, you're thinking to yourself, I just fell in love. I finally found a house that I want. Is this a done deal? Do they get the house? 99% of the time, it's going to be no. It is not a done deal. The 1% that I would like to bring to light is the cash buyer who's closing in 3 to 5 days and totally just waives the inspection. That's about the only time that it's a done deal, because really all they're waiting for is for title to move as fast as they can and the money to get to the bank. And that's it. So other than that 1%, let's talk about the 99% that goes to show why it's not a done deal. So I'm going to break this down into 3 pieces. The first piece is going to be the inspection period. The second piece is going to be the appraisal. And the third piece is going to be the loan in general that needs to fund. So number 1, you have the inspection. I'm also going to break this down. So you have before the actual inspection and then after the actual inspection. So up to the inspection, right now it takes about 5 to 6 days to have an inspection. And this is a very general inspection. The inspection is to go over a little bit about a lot of things. This inspector is not by any means an expert in any one field. His job is to bring all of the information about the house to you as the buyer so that you can decide what areas still need a second look, an expert to look at it, what it's going to cost. He can't give repair estimates. So let's say that we have 5 days till the actual physical inspection. In those 5 days, you as the buyer still have the opportunity to walk. And that's even before you pay for an inspection. And I say that because if you contact the HOA and you find out that you can only have 2 dogs, let's say you have 3, that's a deal breaker. So now you would write on your official form, HOA only allows 2 dogs. I have 3. That's a material fact. There's nothing that you can do about that. So that's a good reason to walk. Let's say that you find out that it doesn't allow Airbnbs or it doesn't allow nightly or weekly rentals, but you really are looking for, sorry guys, but you are looking for something to rent out on a short term instead of a 6 to 12 month rental. That could be a material fact. Maybe the guest casita isn't permitted and you find that out, you can totally cancel for that reason. There's any number of reasons that you can do your due diligence on while waiting for the general inspection. Once you have the inspection, you review the report. And then if you need a pool inspector, a roof inspector, an HVAC inspector, that's when you go in, you have a couple more inspections. So now at the end of this inspection period, we have all of the items that you would like to be corrected by the seller. So now we have, okay, so then you have to come to a meeting of the minds. And the seller has to be willing to either repair or give a credit. The buyer has to be okay with what the seller is offering. So now I just gave 2 examples of why the other buyer 1, can cancel. Maybe they found something before they had the general inspection, and maybe they found something after. And if they found something after, they are more than welcome to put that onto the official document saying, HVAC unit needs to be replaced. Maybe it's just something they don't want to deal with. Maybe it's something that they don't think that the seller will fix for them. So they just automatically write it off. And that's up to them. So then you would become in first position. So there's a few examples as to why the inspection period is a way out for the buyer. So number 2, we have the appraisal. The appraisal is either going to come in at purchase price, below purchase price or above purchase price. When the appraisal comes in at or above purchase price, the buyer is in the clear. No need to renegotiate, no need to wonder anything. We're good. It's kind of like a really big sigh of relief when it does come in at or above. If it comes in below, however, we do have some talking to do with the seller. So I say this because the buyer needs to decide, are they going to come up out of pocket to the purchase price, whether it's $900, whether it's $15,000, maybe it's a larger number than that. Or is the seller going to drop their purchase price to whatever this number is? So you have two ways. Maybe you meet in the middle. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to cut it, and that would be a whole different video. But I just wanted to let you know that's number two. The appraisal is not guaranteed to come in at appraisal value, at purchase value. Number three, the loan that can't perform. Maybe somebody lost their job. Maybe the lender can't get it done. I just had a great example of a client who's buying a house from out of the country. Literally at 6 p.m. on closing day, I got the phone call like, hey, this isn't going to fund. And it's like, how did this happen? So again, another video, but I'm just giving examples as to how it can fall out of contract. So as buyer number two, the smartest thing you can do if you're not working with me is to have your agent send over a backup clause that's initialed and send over a purchase contract. What you will do is you will completely negotiate the purchase contract, the HOA, if there's addendum, if that's even applicable, kind of have all your ducks in a row. And that will be signed by both the buyer and the seller, along with the backup clause addendum stating that you are in second place. So should buyer one fall through for any of the reasons I just mentioned, you are now in first place. And in my experience as buyer two agent, I usually am given the option, hey, we just fell out of contract. Does your buyer still want to move forward? As buyer two, you do not put any money down. It doesn't cost you anything. If you go find another house, you're allowed to call and say, hey, we found something else. We're under contract. You are not bound to this house at all by any means. You are not putting money in title. You are not opening up escrow. It is simply a written document stating that you are next in line. It's pretty much holding your place. That's all you want. You want to be notified as soon as buyer one walks away for whatever the reason is, and when you can have the opportunity to become buyer one. So it doesn't cost any money. You're holding your place. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to find another house should something suit you better. And I do find, and not always, but a decent amount of times, is when somebody has a backup offer and they end up finding something that they love more, whether it's a better location, a better floor plan, more updates, whatever it is. So as it's funny to watch the pattern of buyers, because they are so excited about this one house, heartbroken that they can't have it because it's already under contract. Then they get all sad, but continue their journey. And then all of a sudden it like spikes way back up and they're so happy that they found something and that the first house didn't work out. So I know it sounds cliche to say that, but that's what I've witnessed time and time again. So it is not a done deal if you are buyer number two, and you are not bound to become buyer number two. You have the opportunity to do things. You have the opportunity to find another house. So I hope that explains everything. Oh, I guess I should also say, if you do go from buyer two to buyer one, you can renegotiate, at least in my experience. It obviously depends on the seller as well as the listing agent, but as the buyer's agent in the past, I have renegotiated the contract because sometimes that's a 30 to 45 day period. Sometimes it's 2 months, depending on how long the first escrow was and where they fell out of contract. So if they fell out 2 months later, I think it would behoove the agent to rerun comps and find out what's going on and see if prices have changed. Maybe we can save the buyer a little bit of money, and just find out, is the number still at 600,000 or has it dropped down to 585? Why not try and save your buyer $15,000, right? So I think that covers everything. If you have any more questions, please let me know. My Instagram handle is below, and I'm always happy to discuss real estate. I love this stuff. There's so many questions that can be answered. And I know as a first-time home buyer, or even a buyer who hasn't been through the process in quite some time, you have so many questions. It's like this big black hole that you don't know where you're going because there's nothing tangible about it. So I'm here to be your resource. Again, my name is Lauren House. Thank you for joining me on the Social Nostra Network, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.